2 sessions from right after this class, so from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the Math Center. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's a room more in the corner in Academic Village 2 upstairs. So yeah, I'll be there. So if you guys need any support and anything, I'm more than welcome to help. Are you looking back today? Yes. Both Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. Remember, I told you have to keep an eye on the screen over there. Make sure the little red light is on, so I know it's recording. I didn't record that. Not bad. No. I'll go over this at 9:30. That's our calendar of what's going on today and what's going on in the future days. On this Thursday, I'm going to want to do a quiz, basically 2 questions on cardinality. So I will attach, or actually it's not going to be ready until this evening. I will email separately, but I'll also put it in the Canvas announcements. Just a simple example of what your quiz is going on. I always try to give you a heads up of what the quiz looks like before you take the quiz. And then we'll go over it during the support class, and we take the quiz at the end of the 9:30 class. That way, when you're done, some people are going to finish the quiz in 2, 3, 5 minutes because it's just 2 questions apart now. Okay. And if we do it at the beginning, then we're waiting for people to finish, because some people might want more time. So at the today, by this evening, you'll get just a simple PDF in the announcements and an email from Canvas of what the quiz is going to look like in 2 weeks. Regarding Pearson, I know some people are having some issues with Pearson, and I have emailed Pearson, and I didn't like their answer, and I don't know exactly. Well, there's nothing. There's nothing really I can do. They took away the student's ability to print. So what students were able to do is print out the assignment. You had the ability to print out the homework, work on pencil and paper, work out the homework, and then go back later, type in your answer, so you weren't stuck in front of a computer doing homework. They took that away. I don't know why. It seems so, I don't know, controlling. I mean, I understand if it's quiz, test, those kind of things, but homework. Okay. They didn't do it to my Math 4P class, but they did it to this textbook for 10 and 10. So I haven't responded to their answer. I'm going to respond to their answer saying, I'm probably going to be looking for a different textbook. Now that for you guys that bought 2 semesters worth, I won't change it when you do 10D, because that would be wrong to change it when you've already spent money. But I would change it for the 10A class coming in next semester. Okay, so they would start with a brand new song. Someone who's not so paranoid about printing phone. We left off on page 4 in the notes. And so since this is going to involve, and remember, I'm not lecturing in this class. We're kind of getting ready to do what the lecture is going to entail. And so the lecture is going to entail the order of natural numbers, one-to-one correspondence, making lists, but also base 10 system. Order, place value, rounding. I'll tell you right now, I've been teaching at the college level for 20 years now. College students don't know how to round. And that is not just limited to algebra 1 or arithmetic students. Calculus students don't know how to round. When I ask a calculus student to round to the nearest thousand, they don't know how to round. Sometimes they're lazy. They round answers because they'll have to use an answer from that problem to plug into this problem. So they'll round it before they plug it in. So now their answer is off. Or they just don't know how to round. It's like saying, well, what if pi equals 3? No. At least can go 3.14, 1.59, a little bit further. But at least you know that you have a button that has pi on it. So trace that. Base 10, and be able to break base 10 down. And we did talk about whole numbers and other sets of numbers, but numbers on number lines, symmetric cardinality problems, decimals and negatives, and trying to figure out how to add things to little blocks and sticks and pebbles. Anything like that. And then you have more decimal place. And this is where it's going to get a little crazy when we get to, let's zoom it in. More place. This is a 1.2. Integer. Oh yeah, we're going to get into base 10, but then we're going to get into other bases. Remember, it's in the home. I'm going to go to the home. Look at that, 1-to-1. This is the information that's not in the notes. Other bases, other ways of writing numbers, because it does apply to our concept of numbers. All the way from the land of old Roman numerals. What is a Roman numeral 1? It's an I. If some freaky person comes up and asks your phone number, give it to them in Roman numeral. IV, VI, IV. And they'll leave you. So 1 is an I. You got a 2, so that's an II. You got a 3, so that's an III. You got a 4, which is not 4I. It's I. 5 is D. Exactly. 4 is 1 less than 5, so they put an I before the V. That's what 4 is using Roman numerals. IV and the house. Say again?
I thought it was Ivy and then you connect them on the top and the bottom.
You can. You can go on this. Okay, see? So like right here, they don't connect it. So right here, you have two I's after that V, so you don't see a connection. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. So when you get to 6, that is a V plus 1, or 5 plus 1. Well, are we count? So we're only at 6.
No, but that's what is
Right. So we're gonna get there.
Oh.
So we get 7. So that's V with 2 1s. And then we get to 8. So that's gonna be a V with 3 1s. And then we get to 9. We don't want to go V and 4 1s. When we get to 10, that's an X. You might see it written like that. Or you just might see an X. How do you know an X is an X versus an X is a number? Well, that's why you might see an X with the line on it. So you know it's the number. It doesn't have to have one. The X right there does not have one. Because it's such a big number, it's such a long number, you probably don't want to put a bunch of lines over it because the C won't have lines over it, the D won't, the M won't. So instead of putting a bunch of lines all over a bunch of stuff, plus you probably can't do it in the font. So a 9, just like 5 and 4. A 4 was 1 less than 5. So a 9 is going to be 1 less than 10. If it's 1 less, it's on the left of the X. So an IX. 4 just. And then 11 would be an X and an I. A 12 would be an X and an II. 13 would be an X and an III. 14, well, we don't have a nut. No, when we do a 4, we don't go III. We don't even do what my mom would do with III. We don't do that either. That's only 3. III.
XIB.
XI,
B.
XIV. So it would be a X, so you have to have a 10, and then your 4 is an IV. There's the 4, there's the 10, so it's a 10 plus 4. XIV, that's 14. You know what Super Bowl it is? You've been paying attention to Super Bowls your entire life. That's the only socially redeeming value of a Super Bowl. Okay? And then 15 would be a XV. 16 XVI, 17 XVI, 18 XVI, and X in the 8 would be an X in the V and 3 I's. A 19. So we're going to go a 19. That would have to be a 10 and a 9. 9 is an IX. So 10, and that's a 9. 10 plus 9 is 19. So a 20 would be Super Bowl 30 would look like what? 3X. Super Bowl 40 would look like. We don't do 4X's because we don't do, when we have a 4, we never do 4 things. We take 1 away from 5. So we would need to know what a 50 would look like. 50. We gotta kind of step ahead to 50. 50 is L. So 40 is X and then the L. That would be Super Bowl 40. And before the 50, so that's a 4. So if we were going to do 45, so we would need 10 and then the L and then a B. 40 plus a 5. The worst thing about Roman numerals, they don't really have place value. You don't have a tens place. You don't have a ones place. You don't have a hundreds place. Because that's a 10, but it's before the 50. So these two are all in. That's not 100. So it's like you don't have a single term or one place value that where all the tens are. You know, right here, the one, well, there's 3 things in the one place. So it's about deciphering the hieroglyphics. Did it work for them? Yeah. You know how much we owe to the Romans for what they constructed and what they built? Roads, aqueducts, sewage systems. You know, short little skirts for guys so we can fight battles. So gladiators. You know? So what about 75?
Said FCI.
Yeah. And once I heard something before that.
No,
I need to get to 70, I have to have L. So I need the 50. And then 2 X's, that's 50, 60, 70. And then E. So 1 is I, using appropriately until we get to 5. 5 is a V. 10 is an X. 50 is made with an L. And we still use this notation or this slang for 100. When somebody says, give me a C note, they're talking about $100. When we say the word century, that's a C. C per century, C per 100. So the notation for 100 is C. That's a Roman numeral for 100. Take it for 1 for 5. If there is, I want to just ask Mr. Google. Rome. B is fine. 100. E is 500 and M is 1,000. You've seen something like this in your life, in Roman numeral written like this, where
Most of them like textbooks or on commemorative plaques are on back to the site.
sometimes, yeah. How about in pop culture? Something like this in a pop culture setting.
Movie logos.
In a movie, yeah. Usually at the end of a movie, I know a lot of people don't go to the end of a movie, but at the end of the movie, when they're giving when was this movie made, they'll give the year in Roman numerals. I have zero idea. Never looked into it. Tradition. Not like they started though in the Roman times, but tradition. Snooty, snobby. Look what we can do. But yeah, they'll give the year of the movie in Roman numerals. So when you decipher this, this is the homework. I printed up the homework. I can still print it, but you're going to have a question like this in the homework, and you have to write it out as a number. So I'm showing you this example because these are not in the notes. We have an M, so that's 1,000. And then what's the D? That's a plus 500, good. The D is a 500. And then we have that C, 3 of them. So that 3 C's give me, that's a 300. And then if you look at this, so this is the M. Let me do it. This is the M. That is the B. That is the 3 C's. And then we have plus. And next, we're going to have to decide. We have X, so that's a 10, but then we have L. X is smaller than L, so that must be one number. So when we have the plus, the X, and the L, they stick together. What is it? 40. So L is 50, but X is in front of it, so we're going to take 10 away from the 50, so that's a 40. And then we have a B with an II afterwards. So then we have plus the BII, and that's a such. When you take in a language, you know your vocabulary, you translate at the very beginning, one word at a time. Because sometimes you can't get into the entire context of what they're saying or what the whole sentence means all at once. So they're trying to pick out certain words, translate them a little bit at a time. So you're looking at this number and you cannot just look at it and say, oh yeah, that's 1847, 1,847. I can't look at it and see that. So I'm going to break down and just decipher a little bit at a time. And I also broke it down into placeholder. That's an M, and that's the only thing that's in the thousand. That's the only part of the thousands you have. If you had 2 M's, then I'd have 2,000s. If I had 3 M's, I'd have 3,000. If I had something that indicated 10,000, so I'd have to have another symbol that would represent 10,000. But I have a 1 in the thousands place. I have 5 what, 500 plus 300? I have 8 in the hundreds place. I have 4 in the tens place, and then I have 7 in the ones place. So on this one, you have to rewrite this using Roman numerals, 335. So you start with the 300. So since these are hundreds, so this would be 300, and then plus you have a 30, and then you have a plus 5. That is what we need. How would we write 300 using Roman?
CCX, X, X,
So CCC, and then,
X, X, X.
and then. So this has 7 letters in it. This one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This had 10 letters in it. That had 7. It doesn't matter how many letters it has. It doesn't mean that one number is bigger than another or that much bigger. This is just 335. That's 18.7. And how many letters does not determine how big the number versus how many digits on a Hindu Arabic number is going to determine how big the number is. Okay. The more digits you have, the more or the bigger the number is, unless they're decimal. Okay. A student claims that a Roman system is a base 10 system because it has a symbol for 10, for 100, and 1,000. A base 10 system. So we'll answer that after we discuss base 10 today, because base 10 is coming up today. And then here's the next part. Convert this base 10 number into a number base 4. So counting in base 4. In base 10, we have the 1. Then we have the 10s. Then we have the hundreds. Then we have the thousands. Then we have the 10,000s place. In base 4, we have the ones place. Then we have the 4s place. Then we have the 16s place. Then we have the 64s place. Base 10. This is 10 to the 0. 10 to the 0 is a 1. The 10th place, 10 to the first, that's a 10. The 100th place, 10 to the second, that's where 100 comes from. The 1000th place, 10 to the third, that's 1,000. The 10,000th place, that's 10 to the fourth, that's 1,000 or 10,000. The ones place, that's 4 to the 0. 1. This would be 4 to the first, that's our 4. 4 to the second, that's our 16. 4 to the third, that's our 64. It's a little switch we got to throw on. We got to stop thinking base 10 and we got to go start thinking base 4. So we're going to convert base 10 into base 4, base 4 into base 10, base 10 into base 6, base 6 into base 10, base 10 into base 12, base 12 back into base 10. The Babylonians used base 360. Actually, I take it back. Base 60. Because they knew, or they cut up a circle into 360 degrees. That was 6,000 years. Okay. So let's come on back at 9:30. And we will finish up at 1.1, get started at 1.2. The very end, come back to big up. Okay. If you are still having Pearson problems, come see me now.